pleasing yellow background. Alright, got your coffee cup. Life is good. Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it for short trips. Just make a bunch of coffee at home and reheat it out here. Next time I'll probably bring the coffee maker out, because what I'll do, I'll plan on starting the generator for an hour in the morning. I could heat up some food on the microwave, charge up the batteries, and make coffee or whatever. And then through the day, just use the batteries in the inverter for most things. So, still haven't done the generator yet this morning. Kind of got a plan for the day, sort of. It is vacation, so I don't want to be too carried away here. But, okay, I can probably at least hang on to that. Yeah, it looks like oatmeal. Oh, burned it to the bottom. Next time I'll bring my real pot. Oh yeah. Starting to warm up, but this morning it was kind of cool out. It's first week of April, so last night in the bus it wasn't nearly as cold as it was the night before when I was at the rest stop. That night it got cold. Although I was in the sleeping bag too, so that sleeping bag is tested in Alaska conditions. I made the sleeping bag for the Alaska trip. Used some pretty cool stuff in it. But one night, at least one night in Alaska, I woke up in the morning and the bag felt kind of weird, right? There was enough moisture, and then when I got cold, because a lot of times I was kind of wet when I got in the bag, and the bag was kind of damp because you get rained on or whatever. And wake up and the outer skin of the sleeping bag was frozen stiff. It was crunchy, and you're like, whoa, it's cold. But most nights I ended up sleeping with my pants on and a sweatshirt or something like that, and then the sleeping bag. So it was cold, you know, but you're glad to have it anyway. Anyway, so today, I think what I'm going to do first is do some scouting on the motorcycle and try to pick a better spot to park the bus, because I don't want to be like, the road is like right here. Well, the main county road is on the other end of the lot, so I'm quite a ways back of it. Right now I'm just above the fence line. I'll put up the map, and this is the area that I camped in the last 2 times I came out here, and so it's quick and easy. And I didn't want to take the truck too far in and get stuck, but the road surface or the surface of the desert here is very hard. You know, any moisture that hits it and then it evaporates, it just packs down almost like concrete. I mean, the top layer is a little bit dusty, but where I drove the bus here, it barely broke the surface. I mean, it's not sinking in an 1/8 of an inch hardly. So it's pretty solid here. And then what you'll see, I'll dub in some pictures maybe later, but around each bush there's a little bit of dust, so the wind just wipes it clean, but the bushes kind of hold it up, so you have little mounds everywhere. And there's some areas of the lot here where you can't really walk through, you know, so there's a lot of bushes, and then you have some areas that are kind of open. So I don't want to go killing a bunch of bushes if I can help it, because I don't know, it's hard enough to get something to live out here, so I'm trying to tread lightly, really. There was a couple last time I took out, but I think they were dead anyway. Here's something I can't see. Last night, 2 of the B-1 bombers flew over, and the last time I was out here I had a couple others fly over also. So I looked it up on Google, and there is a training route. I think they call it a high-speed, low-level route or something like that. So It runs right on the edge of the property here. Or maybe it's over me, I'm not sure exactly the definition of where it is, but it's between that hill and the hill behind me, and runs down, and then it turns around. There's a mountain on this side that they turn around, and then they go somewhere else. So, kind of cool to look up and see them buzzing over you. They're probably below 1,000 feet anyway. Anyway, what I'm hoping to do, find a place that I can just put the bus and then leave it, and then have it far enough off the road that it's difficult for people to get to. You know, if somebody's motivated, they'll walk out anyway, but I want to make it a little bit hard for them. And far enough from the road. I mean, the fence line is far enough from the road that it's not as visible as if you were at the road. And with the way the hills are here, and the bushes in some places come up almost half the height of the bus, or better. So then when I paint it, that should blend it right in. So I'm not trying too hard to hide, but at the same time, if nobody knows you're here, then they won't mess with you too much. So that's that. Sure feels good not to be allergic to everything. This is where I need to be. Once I'm parked, then I can work on setting up camp a little bit more. I'm gonna pull at least most of the seats out so I have a little more room, because right now it's awkward walking through the aisle. And once the seats are out, then I can set things up a little bit. Lay out the totes so I can get things easier and start organizing, because I've got, you know, 2 totes full of tools, and then some of the totes have random stuff that I just brought to get it out of my apartment. So I didn't get much done here last night as far as actually doing anything. Getting the motorcycle out, I considered that was my key thing for yesterday. I got that done. Last night I was tired, so I went to bed, but I knew it was way too early. Can't remember what time I actually shut the lights off, but I didn't want to run all my flashlights dead. So I kind of wound down early and went to bed. And then I'm used to sleeping like 6 hours. Wasn't that long after sunset. It was about dark when I went to bed. There was stars were coming out. And so by this morning, 7 o'clock local time, the sun actually came up, and I was watching. I got a little compass so I can figure out where to set the camera next time, but right now it's just about due east and due west for sunrise and sunset. Yeah, I'm really feeling it already though. When I'm at home in the apartment, you get plunked down in front of the computer, you're stuck in the little cave, and you know, I've got a sliding glass door, so you get some light, but it's also shaded. And I got a great big tree outside that door. And then on the kitchen side, I just got a little window on the kitchen, and that's it for outside light. And you just kind of get in there, and you're in your cave, and you just feel your energy dropping down. And then with my allergies there, I just don't feel like I want to do anything. And here, you know, last night I was tired from the drive, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit down. And it lasted about 5 minutes. And I was digging around, found my shovel, dug up all my stuff that I left out here from the time before. You know, I just had the energy. I wanted to go dig a hole, you know. Plus here, I know I got stuff to do, and every time I do something, it makes things just a little bit better. And when I'm at the apartment, I can't do anything. You know, I'm not supposed to do, you know, fixing things or tearing things up, and I can't work on the truck, and I can't work on the motorcycle. And here, you know, I can do whatever I want to do. I felt kind of bad this morning though. I was looking at the the emergency exits on the roof, and you can also open them as vents. So I thought I'd check that out, so I popped one open. While it was stuck, the sealing surface, the part that seals, not the roof sealing, is made out of plastic and protects the sun and whatnot. It was brittle, and it stuck itself to the rubber seal of the hatch. So I gave it a pop to get it off, and it took about 3/4 of the plastic with it, so it just fragmented. So now I got a hole in my roof, and I should measure my oatmeal. I made way too much. Anyway, this was going to be a 2-minute video. We'll walk, we'll scout, we'll find a place, probably move the bus, and then not move it again, at least for a while. Oh, there was a gravel patch here. I remember seeing it when I walked last time. If I walk along the fence line, I think I'll see it. It's out pretty much in the middle, so if I can find that. There was an area that nothing really was growing. It was just bare. Might be interesting. Anyway, that's it. School bus. Yay. Okay, try again. Just took the motorcycle out on a quick tour around corner of the property. What I'm looking at is a place that I can officially set up. And my criteria is fairly level. Further from the county road is better. I'm going to stay on the side above the fence line. So there's a county road, probably 3/4 of the lower lots. Then there's a fence line in the upper quarter of the lot. And then there's the triangle lot. And I'm most likely going to be setting up on the triangle lot. That gets me the furthest away from the road. Like I said before, I'm not necessarily hiding, but if people don't know I'm here, then they don't bother me as much. Obviously they're going to see the big yellow school bus, but far enough from the road it's not as noticeable. And some of the vegetation, there was spots out there. When I looked back, I couldn't see the bus. So, you know, windbreak obviously is going to be a big deal. I don't think I didn't see a spot that I could get close enough to the bigger trees to be useful. Inside the bus, it's not a big deal. I do think I'm going to park the bus parallel with the valley, because the wind usually runs up and down the valley. I haven't been paying enough attention, but I think it's gone the opposite direction before. So if I put the bus in line with the wind, it won't rock it as much when the wind blows. You know, it's just a small thing, but I think if you're in a bus rocking back and forth, that would get annoying after a while. So there's that. I found 2 or 3 areas that I kind of like, and what it'll be, I'll come in on the access road and then turn in, and the ones that I saw, you turn and you turn and you turn and you turn kind of thing, so there's not a straight line, you know. So from the road you won't see, I mean, eventually it'll start to leave a track if I drive in there all the time, you know, with the motorcycle or whatever, but the bus sits up so high, I don't think I have anything critical hanging down low, you know, no wires hanging or anything like that. I'll take a look for air lines for the brakes, but I should be able to run over most of this vegetation if I just go between it. and then straddle it. So let's see, it's 10:30, which means it's 10:30 here local time now. Sun is still coming up. It's nice and warm now though. When I was here in July, it was hot, but because it's so dry, it was, you know, not at all uncomfortable. Take out the seats here, then pack up the bus, and then back it out and get it over onto one of the spots. Haven't quite decided which one of the spots yet. One I liked because it had a lot of open space around it. The bushes were few and far between. That'll make it easier. It's just nice to be here. I think I'll sit a spell. So yeah, the wind is kicking up now. I was just getting ready to get under the bus to start taking seats out. Laid a tarp down there, crawled underneath, and just got hammered. So I'm going to figure out a windbreak. The string. Anyway, it's definitely rocking the bus though. So stage one, first seats I want to take out are the front three on the right side, and that's where the fuel tank and one of the air tanks is. Fuel tank actually isn't in the way, but the air tank is. So I think I can still reach up around it though. And I'm going to take the first three seats out and then leave the fourth one in for now. And the bed will fit right up in there. And I might as well do the same on the left side, and then I'll kind of reevaluate. Ideally I want to take them all out, but at the same time it's nice to have something to sit on in the meantime. So another idea that I was thinking of, if you take a left seat out and put it on the right side or vice versa, then you have kind of like a hutch, they face each other. Then I can just put a table in between them or something like that, but then I keep remembering I'm going to be out here by myself, so I don't really need that. I'm going to rig up a windbreak and then we'll get serious about the seats, because either way it's going to, you know, you're underneath, you're getting the wind blowing on you, it's going to suck. I did find, well, I've got my safety glasses, but I also found some goggles. I got some military surplus goggles, so I think they have the dark visor, but it'd be good enough for this. I think we'll call this chapter Eye Drops and Goggles or something. It is just whipping out there right now. Hard to imagine there's any desert left that all would blow away by now. Oh man. Goggles were definitely a good idea, and I found laying on the tarp, when the wind blew, the tarp would just wrap around me. That kind of worked actually to my favor, so I used the tarp to make a windbreak for myself. But I figured I'd take a break. Getting sandblasted gets old after a while. What we're at now is I've got the aisle bolts. There's on the seat, you got two down posts on the aisle side of the seat, and then the inside of the seat attaches to a rail that's on the side, so they don't have legs over there. Seat bottoms are basically held on by spring clips. So what you do is pop out the bottom of the seat, then you can get to the bolts easier. I'm just trying to remember now. It seemed like it was easier working your way forward, but I haven't got those ones out yet. kind of doing this in stages. I got first 4 seats undone, so I'm going to take them out and stack them on this side, bring the bed up here, and the bed's just going to stay up here for now. And then where the bed is, I can take the rest of the seats and stack them up back there for now. And so I don't have to keep taking the seats outside, because going out through the ramp or through the stairwell is kind of awkward. Through the back door is easier, so once I get the area back there cleared, I'll take those seats and put them back in the back. For now, I'm not going to throw any of the seats away, because I can recycle some of the parts. So, anyway, bottom of the seat, you just reach through the crack and grab it. Give it a good yank. Pop that out. And this is the clip that holds them in place. So, this whole thing is like Tetris or something. Move everything 3 times. Okay, there's the bolts. Those are on the inside of the frame rails from the bottom. 4 bolts per seat. And then down here, behind all the nasty stuff that gets dropped in school buses, there's 2 bolts and 2 nuts. Well, things have been going pretty well. Saving the bolts and the nuts from the seats. Got whole front of the bus is clear of seats. I'm back to the wheel wells. That one just got finished. A couple of the bolts gave me trouble, so I used my little recip saw, which kind of worked. Hard to get it down flat. But what would happen is you'd get the bolt started to come out, and then the vice grips would fall off or whatever on the bottom. So that does work. And I've been holding off on this for some reason, but now it's time. The grinder. And we got cutoff wheels, nice and thin, so rather than grinding the entire bolt, you just cut in a little slot. And what's the cool part is I had bought this 4,000 watt generator just to run the grinder with, but I haven't set the generator up yet. I need to oil it and fuel it and everything, and I haven't done it yet. But I also have this big inverter, which has got the big fat cables hooked up to the battery, and that's my deep cycle battery. I've still got another battery. I still have another starting battery here, but this will run 1500 watts as opposed to the little one that runs 300 watts. Okay, so with the grinders running, the LED on the inverter only showed about 450 watts, so it's got plenty of power to do that. So, safety first, we'll get this set up and then we'll buzz these ones off. Grinders throw sparks, sparks catch on fire, so look around to make sure you don't have anything extremely flammable like your gas can sitting next to you. Get yourself in a comfortable position so you're not fighting yourself. Move everything out of the way. Make sure your cord isn't in the way. And then, when you think you're ready, look around again, figure out which way the the sparks are gonna go. I think I'll blow the sparks away from the camera. Yep. Always good to be sure. Loud. Now ideally you just take off the head, but in that case we're taking off half the bolt head, not just the easy part. So that's making us work for it a little more. And it's hot. Next one's going to go a lot easier because it's sticking up, so I can get the grinder underneath it a little more. Okay, we still got to do a little more. Got to be careful because that floor is rubber. It's steel underneath, but there's a rubber coating. You don't want to burn that if you can help it. A little more. Cool. That's what you got then. Like that. And then we'll just take the screwdriver, poke what's left of it down through the hole. Like so. One down. Now, if you can use the ratchet, or I've got a electric impact wrench, that works pretty good usually. That would be the preferred way, but some of these are just hard to get to the backside. Like the wheel well here, we're right on top of the axle. It's a real pain. The last four are going to be really easy because there's really nothing in the way, but it's kind of fun to make sparks. And I'm really jazzed to know that I can run the grinder off the inverter. That's one less thing I need the generator for. So when I switch over to solar panels, as long as I have enough battery, I can charge up the batteries off the solar, and then I can run a lot of power tools off the inverter. So I call that data points. Every time I do something that works, I kind of make a note of what I can get away with. So took about all day, but all of the seats are removed. So we got, there's one wheel well. And I kind of split these up. I think that's all the right hand seats, just to keep those legs away from me because they're sharp. These edges are sharp too, but that seems to be worse. And then there's all the left hand seats up here in the front corner. So, and the bed is on the right front with everything stacked on top of it for now. And then I got tools and food and piles and piles and piles. Now I can move. As before, you could barely walk through the aisle because the aisles are really narrow. But now I need a shower. That's what the rest of me feels like, but that's probably the dirtiest. What button I keep hitting there? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm kind of a mess. So I think what I'm going to do is sit down for a minute, drink some more water, and then I'll try to figure out how to organize all of this. One of the things I really wish I had right now, besides a shower, was a broom. Because there's so much crap on the floor here. It's every time you pull a seat out, a handful of crayons or something fell out. So there's just random piles everywhere. So, but now I think what I'll do is I'll start with the totes I'm not going to use, stack them up, and then I can put things on top, like probably set the microwave on top and stuff like that. And then when I'm running the generator, I'll probably just throw the cord through the window or something like that. I don't know. I haven't figured that out. Somewhere on the list for the week, I need to fix this. You see that daylight? That's not supposed to be there. This is the forward emergency exit on the roof. And it's, well, this one isn't labeled, but the other one is labeled that you can open it for a vent. So I went to push it up, and that black rubber seal was stuck to this light colored plastic, and it just pulled the whole plastic and shattered it. So that will leave me with, yeah, there's a spot for water to run in, probably into the insulation. I think there's a second layer on here. So I don't know if I want to duct tape that or what I want to do. If I put a tarp up there, it's just going to blow away. The wind is relentless. Think of something before I leave. But for now, I am very happy to have the seats done. Oh, the other thing is I've got a million holes in the floor now.